I'm Joel Jarvis, grower of the 2011 World Record Squash, weighing 1,486 pounds. I've been asked today to test run 3 tillers for the Power Tool Advisor website, and that's what we're going to attempt to do today. And hopefully we'll see which one comes out on top, or which one is conducive to our practices here on the farm. That's my choke. That's my on. Now we're going to try the 4-stroke Honda tiller. Make sure the choke is on, turned on up top, prime it. This is obviously digging in too deep. I think there must be a depth gauge on it, so I'm going to attempt to change the depth gauge. We adjusted the drag bar on that Honda tiller. The power was good even at deeper depths, I guess, but it was a little bit too deep. And we found now that if we take the wheels off and lower that depth gauge, that hopefully this will make a difference as to how far this tiller actually digs. All right, while it's still fresh in my mind, what I do like about that Mantis, it does idle up nice. It's quick on the trigger. It's for its size, it seems to have a fair amount of torque power, so it turns over the soil quite well. With a tiller, you don't want it to be too fast. You don't want to pulverize your soil because soil actually has structure, so you don't want to destroy that. But the Mantis there seems to have a good amount of speed. One thing I have noticed, it didn't come with wheels on the back of that. I would really like to see a set of wheels on it for the simple fact sometimes we're putting manure or other amendments, even like a chemical fertilizer, and I don't want to see that thing laying in the ground after I'm using it. So that's one thing I would probably like to see on that Mantis. Also, the handles are a little bit narrow, so it seems like it's a lot of forearm work, and it's a little bit of a workout for a patch, especially my size. It might be good in a small garden environment, but for this size of garden, even for weeding or between rows, it seems a little small for what I'm doing. Also, I noticed it is nice and light, so possibly for somebody a little bit older or maybe with an infirmity, they might like that. It's quite a light tool, but in my garden I have a few rocks, so it tends to jump quite a bit as well. So that's my synopsis on the Mantis. So that's the Honda 4-stroke. I like that tiller. It's a nice little tiller. It digs in quite well. I believe it has the bolo tines on it. They're a little bit more rounded, and it digs through this soil quite nice. The most cumbersome thing about that piece of equipment is the pins. The way I raise and lower the drag bar, it's a little bit cumbersome to get that up and down in the right position. It's a little bit heavier than the Mantis, but it also seems to jump a lot less. So the weight when it's on the soil doesn't appear to be a factor. I like running that tiller. It's got the back wheels, which is nice. It starts quite easy, and it runs quite well. Cool, hot, doesn't really matter. It's a nice working little tiller. The one downside of it, I think, is the drag bar there in the back. Also, the handles are a little bit more narrow than I would like to see. A little bit wider, I find. I mean, I'm not an overly big guy, but I find with the handles in like this, it's still, again, a lot of forearm work. In a small garden area, you might be okay with that. But on a larger scale like this, when I'm going in between vines and rows, it gets a little bit cumbersome on the forearms. So anyway, that's my rendition of the Honda and my evaluation of that. I ran into a bit of issue last time trying to start this because I put the choke on. It's already a warm day, so I'm not sure that it needs a choke, so I'm going to try to start with it without first this time. So that's it. That's a 2-stroke steel. I really like the balance of that machine. The tines are quite a bit ahead of where I'm standing as an operator, and I find that the balance is just, it's perfect with that one. I can drive that one with one hand, and well, the machine basically drives itself, which is a nice feature. Just the balance is really nice on that. Also, the wide handles, it makes a difference as far as control goes. With I mean, without a large amount of upper body strength, you can control that machine. Basically, it does all the work. On one hand, I think that I would like to see a little bit higher rotation in those tines. But on the flip side, as I said before, with a tine that spins too fast, you can actually pulverize your soil. You can get it fine and powdery and it looks great, but as soon as you get a rain on top of that, you are going to have compaction, and your plants definitely won't grow as well. So that's my thoughts on the steel. So this is Joel Jarvis, grower of the 2011 World Record Squash. I've been growing for several years now, 25 to be exact, and I was pleased to do this review for Power Tool Advisory, and I hope you find it useful.